Welcome to Digital Training Hub. If this is the first time to visit the channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to receive alerts when new content is released. This is lesson 5 of 7 on communication skills. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to conduct interviews. Learning activities 1. Employ a range of appropriate communication strategies in interview situations. This may include establishing rapport, eliciting facts and information, facilitating the resolution of issues, developing action plans, and diffusing potentially difficult situations. Special instructions. Role-play the interview situation and apply appropriate communication strategies. Learning activities 2. Make and maintain records of interviews in accordance with organizational procedures. Learning activities 3. Use effective questioning, listening, and nonverbal communication techniques to ensure that the required message is communicated. Introduction. This learning outcome involves employing a range of communication strategies in interviews, making and maintaining interview records in accordance with organizational procedures, and using effective questioning, listening, and nonverbal communication techniques to ensure that the intended message is communicated. Definition of key terms. Interview. It refers to a formal meeting where someone is asked questions in order to establish some issues related to them. Nonverbal communication techniques. These are gestures, tone of voice, facial expressions, eye contact, posture, body language, and any other ways that people use to communicate without using language. Communication strategies in interview situations. A range of appropriate communication strategies, establishing rapport, eliciting facts and information, facilitating resolution of issues, developing action plans, diffusing potentially difficult situations, are employed in interview situations. There are several types of interviews, i.e., face-to-face interview, i.e., between 2 or more people. Panel interview. Group interview. The case interviews. Telephone, Skype interview. Sequential interview. Lunch, dinner interview. Competency-based interviews. Formal, informal interview. Portfolio-based interviews. Second interview. Importance of interviews. Helps in selecting the most suitable candidate or team. Helps in knowing a lot of details on the personality of the candidate. It gives the candidate a chance to know more about the job, course applied for, and the organization. The interviewee and the interviewer get to know each other. Interviews are also helpful in promotions and transfers. Interviews increase goodwill. Communication strategies for interviews. Creating a rapport in an interview. Rapport refers to the connection between two people, i.e., the spoken and unspoken words that elicit the feeling of being on the same page. It is important in an interview since the immediate impression of a person is very critical. It thus should be a priority for any interviewee. A good rapport creates more similarities and minimizes differences. Tips to developing a rapport. Smile. Establish and maintain eye contact. Deliver sincere greeting. Use the person's name, interviewer's name. Listen more and talk less. Check on your mind your body postures. Note, in developing rapport, always remember that the first impression counts. Take a genuine interest in the interviewer, organization, and the job. Remember to match the interviewer's style in language and talk. Eliciting information and facts in interviews. Getting information and facts is the main idea behind interviews. Interviewers need to use the questions, language and means to get the right information, and they should avoid sarcasm or obscure humor. Through use of questions, interviewers get the information they want and as well guide the interview along productive lines. Leading questions should also be avoided as they are not effective. Double negative type of interrogation should be avoided as well. In order to get the required information, interviews should be conversational and not confrontational. Thus, interviews should be welcomed positively. Careful reviewing of the interviewee's resume helps to know more about him, her. This helps in getting important information that can be explained further by the interviewer. As soon as the interview begins, it is prudent to explain the interview process well. This will allow the interviewee to know what is expected of him, her. Developing interview action plans. Interview action plans are beneficial and can help throughout the interview process. It needs to be carried out before any interview in preparation of the interview at hand. Interview action plans are beneficial as they give the interviewee chance to prepare for questions, look into the organization and sell themselves in the best way possible. Interview action plans require preparation for common questions, general questions, researching into the company, researching into the industry, selling oneself, revealing one's network. Prepare for any concerns, i.e. if you anticipate any concerns. Prepare for the gist, i.e. why you want the job, course, opportunity. Prepare for any questions, part of the interview. Close on a positive note, i.e. to make the interview memorable. Note: in interviews, non-verbal communication cues matter a lot. In addition to the spoken words, both the interviewer and the interviewee need to take charge of them and act appropriately. They include eye contact, confident handshake if possible, effective gestures, authoritative facial expressions, appropriate facial expressions, initiating interactions, voice tones, giving full attention, response to others' nonverbal cues. Records of interviews are made and maintained in accordance with organizational procedures. It is necessary to document and keep the interview records. This should be done accurately and carefully in accordance with the organizational procedures. Maintaining interview records is important as it gives chance for follow-up on the employee even after he/she has been absorbed in the organization. It also gives chance for production should their records be required for exhibits. Effective questioning, listening and non-verbal communication techniques are used to ensure that required message is communicated in conducting interviews. Questioning techniques is key. Interviewees answer questions that they are asked. Therefore, should an interviewer ask a wrong question, he/she will get a wrong answer. Asking the right questions during an interview is at the core of eliciting facts and information required by the interviewer. Tips to use in questioning during an interview. Use open-ended questions in finding more details, opinions and developing conversations. Closed questions are good in frame setting, testing understanding and making conditions. Funnel questions should be used in finding more details about a specific point or when gaining interest in an issue. Use probing questions to gain clarifications and draw information. Leading questions should be used with care because they don't elicit much information. Note: listening during an interview is just as important as answering questions. Without being attentive, it is possible not to give the best response or not to get the question right. Listening skills are also very essential in building a rapport between the interviewee and the interviewer. Tips to use in listening during an interview: listen to the hidden question. Listen to the actual question, i.e. the actual thing being asked. Ask for more information, i.e. when you actively listen, you will know when to ask for more information. Listen in order to get interviewees' attention. Non-verbal communication plays a big role during interviews. This non-verbal communication matters as soon as one walks into the interview room and are sometimes even more important than verbal communication. Tips to use in non-verbal communication during an interview. Maintain eye contacts with the interviewer. Smile and nod appropriately. Do not overdo it. Listen. Be polite and stay calm. Use appropriate facial expressions. Initiate interactions if possible. Use of voice, i.e. be audible enough. Give full attention to the interviewer. Sit upright, do not lean back. Conclusion: this unit has covered skills of conducting interviews, emphasizing on the questioning, listening and non-verbal communication techniques that are essential in communicating messages. Further reading: Jerfawed Aber Careers, 2014, all about interviews. Aberystwyth University, www.aber.ac.uk/careers. Thank you for watching and listening to this lesson. See you in the next lesson, Lesson 6. If this is your first time to visit the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to receive alerts when new content is released.